everyone, welcome back to the Lowarn Sewalong. So this is part 3 of the 4-session sewalong. I'm Jo and this is Debbie.
Hi.
And we're part of Country Cow Designs. So if you caught the last 2 episodes, then you know for this one we're actually going to start sewing the Lowarn bag. So we'll get started, we'll just jump straight into it. But first of all, I wanted to let you guys know that I've got a couple more special discounts this week. So one of my favourite suppliers, as most of you will probably know, is Blended Thread Fabrics in Canada. So it's a little bit expensive for us guys in Britain to buy from Blended Threads because of the postage to get over here and like the duty when it arrives and stuff. So it's a special occasion thing for me. But she has offered us 15% off for the sewalong. So this discount code is just going to be available for a couple of days. And the code to type in during the checkout is Country Cow Designs, all one word, all lowercase, no spaces. And that's going to be for her in-stock fabric. So she's just got a little bit of in-stock fabric, and then she's also got a pre-order going on right now with some really cool new designs. And I've also got a discount code from Little Stitcher Sews in the UK, and she's got 10% off with the code Country Cow, all one word again. So hopefully you guys can get some goodies with that. I know I absolutely love ordering from Blended Threads, but I normally just buy 1/2 metre at a time because then I can kind of get it into, I can get 5 designs into her 2.5 metre bundle because she has like set postage. So, but if you're in Canada, you don't need to worry about that.
Go crazy.
Yeah, you can go crazy. Or if you're in America. Okay, so we're going to jump straight in. So me and Debbie, for this Lowarn, we're using foam because we wanted something slightly sturdier. So the rest of you, if you're using Decaville like in the pattern, you need to fuse your Decaville to the back of your pattern pieces as instructed in the pattern. So it's to the back of most of the exteriors. If you're having side pockets, fuse it to 2 of the lining pieces instead. It will just make it easier later when you're trying to turn the pockets out. But yeah, if you want to use foam like us, you just need to baste it on instead because it's not fusible foam we're using. So I've clipped everything into place and Debbie's just going to get started on basting it all together, aren't you?
Yep.
So we've got the 2 exterior pieces, the 2 top panel pieces, the front and back, and the tongue closure. So she's going to baste all of those. We already did the tongue closure purely because we wanted to check that this thread colour goes. So we're using like a coral colour and we weren't really sure, so we just basted this on so we could see what it looks like, but it goes really well. So I'm going to let Debbie start with that. Are you going to change over, Adam? Yeah? Adam's going to change the camera over. What's the lighting like, Adam? Is it okay? Oh, it's sketchy, is it?
Also, my sewing is sketchy.
No, Debbie, you're sewing good. So when you're basting foam on, if this is your first time basting, you want to make sure that you use like an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, and you can have like the longest stitch length on your machine. Some machines actually have like a basting stitch length which is really long, and basically you're just trying to hold the foam in place until you sew the part later. So it doesn't need to be back stitched. It doesn't need to be, you don't need to be super careful about it. You just want to make sure that you're using an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance so it's inside the seams and it won't be seen later on.
Thankfully it doesn't need to be too neat.
Yes, thankfully it doesn't. Oh, thanks Beverly. I've just seen your nice little comment. So we've got loads from all over. Oh, that's fine, Debs. Yeah. Debs is just asking about that it's kind of gone to about 1/4 of an inch here on her basting, but that's not really a problem. So long as you're like within the seam allowance, you're going to be fine when you're basting. So we've got people from all over today. So Tennessee, Sweden, County Durham, in Ireland. That didn't come out right. France, New Jersey. Oh, we've got people from all over. And Dalva from Puerto Rico. It's nice to have lots of the same people coming back. So it's really nice to see you guys are like participating in all of the things. And how many of you are actually sewing along with us today? And who's using foam for theirs and who's using Decaville like in the pattern? Be interested to know what everybody's decided to go with. Jodie's ready to get making. Yeah, so right now, if you're just joining us, Debbie's just basting the foam into each of the pieces. So just like this.
I think this is my first time ever basting foam, I think.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So, Debbie's very new to bag making. Noon iron. Jodie, are you ironing? Is that because you're are you actually ironing, or are you ironing your Decaville into place? I'm intrigued. Hi Debbie from the Netherlands. Nice to have you with us. We've got a bit of Dutch heritage, not much, but our grandmother's Dutch, so yeah, unfortunately we never learnt the language, but we still love that we've got a bit of Dutch in us. We've got Jessica from Nigeria. Hiya. Oh, sorry, Debs. Okay.
Is that okay? Clearly that foam's actually smaller than
no,
that
that's
fabric.
fine.
Okay, cool.
That's perfect. I know there's like a lot of controversy over foam. Some people really hate it. I used to hate it, like the first few times I used it, and now I love it. And I feel like it gives, I just love that puffy look that you get from foam. Oh, okay. Jodie says slang for Northern Ireland is Northern Iron. Yeah, I can imagine in an Irish accent. I love the Irish accent. Okay, Arnetta's picking up sewing from the shop this week, and then she's going to be able to sew. Oh, that's brilliant. So you're going to start next week. Christine, you're actually sewing with us. That's great, and you're using Decaville Light. So yeah, it might be a little bit quicker for you because you're just ironing the Decaville Light on. Willow Creations. Oh, donning pockets and a crossbody strap. Good for you. Yeah, we're not doing pockets on ours purely because we wanted to make the sew along like a little bit shorter, a little bit easier, a little bit less stressful. Yeah, just because sewing these pockets on is a little bit more work. Mary Grace is using foam. That's good because yeah, I'm loving using foam. Ever since I saw, I don't know if anybody follows her, Amy of Bedhog Shop. She does a lot of pattern testing for me. She made a couple of her latest Lowarns using foam, and they look great. She's the one that just did like it's almost white Lowarn with Star Wars, like a Star Wars magnetic closure and lightsaber zips. Very, very cool. So once I saw her first one with foam, I thought, yeah, I do like it with foam. Oh, Heather's not sewing today in the throes of a big kitchen reno. Yeah, that doesn't sound like fun. I hope it goes well. Teresa, little fabric stash didn't work out, so you've ordered some new. Ooh. And then you catch up when that arrives. What colours are you going for, Teresa? Let us know. Ah, Jodie, between your 2020 heavy duty sewing machine or your 1915 treadle. Are you any good with the treadle? That, I suppose, is the question. I never was able to master mine, so I've added a motor to it because Adam was really good at getting the treadle and getting the rhythm right. I could never do it. It just there's that bit where it almost feels like it's going backwards at the beginning, and I could never get past that bit. Beverly, just finished watching your YouTube video for the Miyako with the drop-in lining. Yes, my first drop-in lining. This new pattern that I released today. My first time doing a drop-in. And I thought I was really going to hate it. But when I started making the prototypes, I started trying a few different ways for doing the drop-in lining. And I've actually ended up loving it. So, yeah, I'm really happy with it. Just having a look at everybody that's joining us. Oh, hi Barbara from Wales. I won't do a Welsh accent. I get it. We went to Wales once. We went to Pembrokeshire, and it was stunning. It's like, I know it sounds stupid, but when we went to Wales, I didn't expect it to be like going to a different country because it's part of the UK, but it is. It's totally different. It was really, really beautiful. Oh, okay. Delva missed the discount announcements. Okay. Yeah. So I could post the info later, but Adam, are you able to put a comment up saying what the discount code is? He's looking at me like no. He's giving me a no. Okay. So Blended Threads have got 15% off using the code Country Cow Designs, and it's got to be all one word. 15% off in stock fabric, which she has a little bit of, and the pre-order that she's got going at the moment. So if you're in Canada or the USA, then it's absolutely fantastic. If you're in the UK, it's a lot more expensive because of the postage. But if you see one of her fabrics that you love, she's got some really, really special stuff. For me, I feel like it's worth it. Also, her fabric is, I don't know about the other, because she does like loads of different bases. She does like French terry and cotton spandex, I think, and board shorts and all this sort of thing. But the canvas is 60 inches wide, so it's absolutely massive. And you got to kind of bear that in mind when you're buying it, because when I buy half a metre, I end up with so much fabric. So you got to count that into the price as well. Oh, there you go. Adam's put it in the comments for you. Yeah, and there's also 10% off Little Stitcher Sews if you're in the UK. So littlestitchersews.co.uk. And the code for her 10% off is Country Cow.
I think she does ship internationally now, doesn't she?
Little Stitcher Sews? Yeah, Laura does, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, look at that. Okay, right, Debs, you're done.
We're done.
Okay, I'm already feeling warm and like we need to open the window, Debs. It's all the lights. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to start with the straps. So grab your handle connectors and zip tabs. We're doing cotton zip tabs because we don't want to have too much bulk in the back. Okay. Go on, Debs, you've got to open the window for me. It's roasting in here. Okay, grab your handle connectors and zip tabs, and you want to draw a line down the centre of all of them. Okay, it's not going to be the easiest to see because it's a black pen. But you're drawing a line down the centre like this. Then we're going to fold the edges in like this. So because we're using cork, we're going to grab some double-sided tape, just put that there, and stick that down with the cork. Right, so Debs, do you want to do that bit? I'll mark them and you can stick them.
I'll do that one a bit long.
Right, and we're going to do the same thing on these zip tabs. Now, if you're doing the smaller straps, you will have slightly smaller handle connectors. So just make sure you mark it down the middle, whatever size you're doing. There you go. Oh, hiya! Emma from Studio 77 is on. She's got loads of free tutorials on her YouTube channel, including a very cool shark pouch, which I've always wanted to try. It's like a shark pencil case, isn't it, Emma? And I really want to give it a go, but I haven't yet. It's on my to-do list. But it would be a really, really good pencil case for kids, especially if like going back to school.
Am I double-siding these?
Yeah, why not? Because we don't have the iron out, so we'll double-side the cotton ones as well. Okay, so you're just folding those long edges into the centre. Okay, so you can't really see that seam anymore down the centre, so it's just folded like that. And then what we're going to do is top stitch both of the long edges with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance to hold them in place. Do you want to change your thread to a matching one, because we're also going to be doing the handles, and I don't know what that coral is going to be a real stark contrast. So I don't know whether you want to go with like navy.
Yeah. Have we got a bobbin ready?
Yeah, we do. Come on, yeah. Can you remember how to do it? Debbie does not so much at all. So do you need?
Except for on.
Do you want some help? Yeah, except for live on YouTube. Do you want some help threading the machine, or are you okay?
Okay.
Okay.
This camera holder is a little bit in the way, but I think we can make it work.
Heather says, love blended threads, waiting impatiently for an order from a few months ago. I have learned that when I order from Blended Threads, I think it takes like 3 months for her to receive it after she places the order. It then takes 3 months to arrive in the UK. So I've learnt to kind of like just forget about my pre-orders with Blended Threads. Like place an order and just forget about it, and then when it turns up 6 months later, it's just awesome. And it's a really nice surprise.
Oh, I've just dropped
because I'm also very impatient.
There's a bobbin loose on the floor, a coral bobbin.
Oh, yeah, we're going to need that later.
Yeah.
Oh, where's it gone? Oh, it's really disappeared. Hang on a second. Oh, you've well and truly thrown it underneath the cutting table. Right,
So it did
we'll get that in a minute. Ooh, Jodie's going to make the roller bag. So you're making the vexer. I love the vexer. I did make one quite recently, like a rainbow one. I really enjoy making the vexer. As soon as I've got past the front pocket, because that is always a bit of a challenge. No matter how many curves I sew, I still find them challenging.
So just down the bottoms, not the ends.
So you're just doing the long edges only, because
Okay.
the ends will be hidden. And you're doing 1/8 of an inch seam allowance.
Okay, but I might as well go along the bottom.
Yeah, you can go along the bottom as well if you want to, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Definitely got everything threaded. Oh, hang on, you need to just tuck this thread in behind that little thing there.
I did, it came back out. And also, what stitch length around?
So we're doing the handles. When we sew them on, you want, like normally I would do like a 4, but I'd like them to, like, because you want them to be strong when we sew them on, and you want it to match. So I'd go for a 3.
Okay.
Teresa's got a choice of fabrics coming. Adam says I've got too much choice. Oh, okay, so, sorry, I'm just catching up on comments. Emma from Studio 77 has got a dinosaur, is that a dinosaur pouch or dinosaur pencil case that's coming soon? That is going to be amazing, because I love your shark one. And well, I love the look of it. I haven't tried sewing it yet. I really need to. Should we put that on the list? We'll put it on the list. It has to be done next month.
I have a vexer cut out still, don't I, from ages ago.
Yeah, and I'm halfway through a Luz Marina, which is a pattern from Aura Rosa, and I've been sewing it for weeks, and I do a tiny, tiny bit every week, and I'm like, I will finish that this month. I'm determined.
I've totally knocked that out.
Oh, that's so nice. She's just been gifted a copy of the pattern from a dear friend. That's really nice. I like that, sewing patterns as gifts. Just giving a little wink to Adam.
Hint, hint.
Hint, hint, just in case you ever, want to. Oh, sorry, you've not done these two. Okay.
No, I've just done this one wrong as well, so I'm going to go along the bottom just
So this is what you should have with your handle connectors. It's going to be top stitched down both long edges, and these short edges are going to be raw because they'll be hidden later, so don't worry about those yet.
And just don't copy me, because I'm doing it all wrong right now.
What's going wrong, Liz?
Just keep missing my corners, and so I'm having to stop and start.
That's alright, don't worry. I don't know. Adam's like wording at me going, I think you need to move the light so that I think he's saying I need to move the light so that Debbie's sewing machine is brighter. Put it behind me. Is it not going to be everybody can move to see it then? that alright? Yeah?
Shine on, Debbie.
So we're just trying to lighten up Debbie a little bit. Okay, so whilst Debbie's just finishing off those handle connectors, we will get started on the handles. So we're not going to do a crossbody strap today, but if you're doing a crossbody strap, you can either follow the pattern instructions, or you could follow, I've got like a no raw edges crossbody strap video on my YouTube that you can follow. So what we're going to do on the handles is draw a line all the way down the centre on the wrong side of the fabric. So this is just like we did with those handle connectors, but this one's a lot longer. Adam's just sorting out the technical issues for me. So we're doing the long handles rather than the grab handles, which is why we're not doing the crossbody strap. If I was doing the grab handles, I would definitely do a crossbody strap because I'd want a way to like carry it easily. But with these shoulder straps, I don't think it needs it. Okay. Now I'm going to put some double-sided tape down the long edges. So if you are using cotton, you could just iron this, just like press it with an iron to hold it in place. But you don't want to put any double-sided tape at the very end. So I'm going to go with about an inch on the end, and then I'll put my double-sided tape down. If you're using double-sided tape, which is by far the easiest solution for cork or vinyl, just make sure it's the kind of tape that you can sew through. So I don't have any trouble with this tape I get from Amazon that's called Fepito, but there are some that you have trouble with.
I'm going to want to use coral thread on here, aren't I? So should I do these after the handle?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, we'll do the handle first, so you don't have to keep changing threads. Does everybody else match their thread colour to their fabric, or is it just like, do you change your thread whilst you're sewing, or is it just us? A strip of LED. I thought you meant lead. Okay, sorry, Becky. Now I understand you. She's saying add a strip of LED, Adam, to the sewing machine.
Adam mentioned that earlier, actually. Yeah.
That would be a good idea, and then I don't have to have so many lights pointing on me when I'm doing my tutorials. Okay.
Also, the ever-changing British weather doesn't help because it's bright and sunny and there's loads of light, and then there's a load of cloud cover. It just swaps and changes.
It's a bit changeable at the moment. Okay, so we're folding these long edges into the centre, to that centre line that you made. Now, don't actually worry too much if you're not that central. It's not a massive problem because the way that these handles are put together, like if you're doing one of those 4-fold handles, you need to make sure that it's like really well centered. But with this style, it doesn't really matter if you're a little bit off center when you're folding these, so you don't need to take quite so much care. And you'll see why in a minute. Well, you can get specific LED strips just for machines, Adam. Laura, I changed the threads. That's why bags take you so long. Yeah, that's why they take me so long as well. And I just change my thread constantly. I just feel like it hides a multitude of mistakes when your thread matches your fabric. Takes the stress out of it. I'm not stressing about the stitching. Yeah, about like how it's looking. And also like when you're doing like the structural seams of a bag, you want to make sure that if the like thread stretches a tiny bit and shows that it's not like, you know, white on black. Okay, we're almost there. Okay, that's the handle all folded in. There you go, so the ends aren't stuck. Now, don't forget to put your rectangle rings on. I've sewn these before and I've just forgot to put the rings on. So you want to put both rings on. the same way. So if you've got like a join in your rectangle rings like mine have, make sure they're on like the same way together. Although you can kind of change them around. Okay. Put these right sides together, these two short ends, and open those up. And we're going to need a couple of clips.
This side?
Yeah. Okay. And then you're going to sew this short edge here with 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. So just go down to like a 2.5 stitch probably.
And you have to remind me, 3/8, that's up to the edge, isn't it?
Just so the one to the right of where the presser foot comes.
Okay. This one.
Yep. Yeah. And make sure that you back stitch really thoroughly at the beginning and end on this one. Okay, so I need to start on the next handle. These handles are they're like no raw edge handles.
That's very well.
Okay, so once that is sewn, you're going to need to press this seam open, and I'm going to put some more double-sided tape to hold that down. So I'll just put a little bit. Oh, that was a little bit too little. A bit longer one on the next one, Debs, because not quite long enough. Okay, I'm going to fold that into the centre. Have you got a clip that I can just borrow, just to give that a bit of extra support? Thanks. Okay, so you're just pressing that seam nice and flat, nice and open. There we go. And then fold that into the centre. And kind of another clip for that one. Okay. There we go. I'm not losing it a little bit, but right now what you're going to do. So this is my edge with the seam. You want to make sure that the seam is on the inside, and the little seam where you sewed, you've got to kind of decide where you want it. So I think on this one, I'm going to put it so it's just underneath a rectangle ring. Oh, just dropped my clip. Okay, there we go. And this is why you didn't need to worry about your centres lining up, because you're not folding it again. These are just, these open seams here, they're going to go together, and you're going to have no seams on show. So we're just going to clip the rest of this strap together. Just clip that end in place first. Okay, so we're going to clip the whole thing together and then sew it all the way down, and then we're going to go as close as we can to each rectangle ring and back down, and that's where we're going to use the hump jumper, because to get right up, because this is higher up because of the rectangle ring, you've got to use a hump jumper.
I hate that bit.
Yeah. So I'll just let you do that, Debs, and you can sew it. Handles are the worst part. Jodie, got the double-sided tape that I suggested but hadn't tried. Is that the wash-away tape that I've been recommended loads and still haven't tried it? Yeah, so let me know how you get on. I will use it after I run out of this, but I bought a huge pack of this tape, so I think I bought like 12 rolls, so it's going to take me a while to get through it all. Oh, handles are the worst part, aren't they? I know I always put it at the beginning of my patterns, which some people might not like. But I like to get them over and done with, because I just feel like there is literally nothing worse than finishing a bag and then having to sew the strap. You know, when the bag's like all done, looks great.
So where do I begin?
Okay, so you can kind of begin wherever you prefer. I think if it were me, I'd start. Yeah, I wouldn't start at the end. It would feel too awkward with the hump jumper.
Okay.
So maybe I'd start here. Yeah.
Yeah. And 1/8 an inch.
Yep, 1/8 of an inch with a nice long stitch length. I go for a. Again, actually, I might go for a 3. I used to favour longest top stitch lengths, but recently I just feel like I want to give my straps a bit of extra strength, and I just love the extra stitching.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I back stitch.
Yes, because we're using matching thread. Sometimes, otherwise, you can pull the threads through, can't you, and tie them off. But if I'm using a matching thread, then I just back stitch. So when you get to where you need the hump jumper, just let me know if you need some help with this. Dear. She's got a Toulouse still cut from last Christmas. You make me feel better because that is almost a year ago.
I've got a vexer, haven't I, cut out? But yeah, that's been months. So
Yeah, Debbie cut out her vexer months ago, and then her work's just been really busy, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Debbie works for she works for some doctors, some consultants. So yeah, super busy right now. So we will do your vexer eventually.
Yeah, one day.
So I'm just catching up on. Patricia says that she uses upholstery fabric for bags. I haven't actually used any upholstery fabric yet, but I keep meaning to try it. It looks like it would just be really durable and really good for bags, but then I get pulled in by all the pretty patterns by people like blended threads, so I never get around to trying it.
Right, it's my hump jumper.
Yep.
You want to go behind?
Yes, so you want to go behind, and generally when I'm using the hump jumper, I kind of hand crank my way. There's nothing wrong with hand cranking it and going slowly. So you want to stick it behind the foot, lift up the press foot, stick it behind. That's probably the small end, I think, yeah. And then just hand crank it until you get really close to the rectangle ring, as close as you think you can.
Nice. Let's get into it. Would that be about it?
Yeah, that looks about right. Okay, so now lift up your press foot. Your needles down, yeah, your needles down.
Yeah.
Okay, swing it around and then put the hump jumper on the left of the presser foot.
Do you think I can get one more stitch in?
No, I think that's about right, yeah.
Okay. So this side, prop it down.
And then just do a couple of stitches, then you'll have to move the hump jumper forward as you go. Until you think you're at 1/8 of an inch from the edge, and then you want to leave your needle in and turn again.
Can I do one more? I'm going to almost go out off the edge.
Okay, and this is where you want to have the hump jumper in front of the foot. And I know a lot of people like to use folded up cardboard and stuff instead of a hump jumper, but this is a bit where I find the hump jumper really handy because it's got that little cutout section for the needle to go down the centre, and then the hump jumper props up the needle.
Okay, I'm back in business.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I've just realised I'm on the wrong part and I've missed all of these comments. Do you know, there is a lot of people that match their threads. What was the name of the double-sided tape? It's called Pepito. That's the one I buy. It's FEPITO, and I buy it from Amazon. So I would imagine it's available in the United States because it's an Amazon thing. But I have been told that wash-away tape is even better, but it's very expensive. So and I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know yet. Is there a specific place we're showing off our Lowarn creations from Becky? Yes, so I have been meaning to say, so you can use the hashtag Lowarn Sewalong and share it on Instagram or Facebook, and then and then we can see all your makes when we just look for that hashtag. But also, I've been meaning to set up a post on my Facebook for people to, on my Facebook page, for people to post their makes. But I first of all have to figure out how to allow people to post photos. So I've been meaning to check my Facebook page on instructions on how to do that, and I will do that at the end of today. And then what I'll do is I'll put a post on my page, and everybody can add to that, which will be really great because I do really want to see what everybody's making. And you can do a photo each week. And if you're posting on Instagram or TikTok or anything like that, just use the hashtag Lowarn Sewalong, and then I can get to see everybody's. And I was going to try and feature some on my Instagram and Facebook stories. Let's just have a quick look. Choose Willow Creations. Choose a colour thread that matches both fabrics. Yeah, I do normally try to. Somehow we've ended up with two entirely different fabrics here. It didn't feel like anything was going to match both of them. Are you guys in reverse image?
Yes.
Yeah, we are, aren't we, Adam? Yeah.
Well spotted.
Yeah. Everything does look backwards now that I'm looking at it. Jodie learned how to crochet and sew when we got sent home to work from home in 2020. Yeah, I reckon a lot of people have learned to sew since the pandemic because of working from home. Yeah, it's been such a change for all of us, really. So many more people work from home than used to. Okay.
I'm actually quite happy with that.
That is looking really neat and tidy, Debs.
For me, that's quite neat.
There you go. So, we're going to do the same thing with this one. You just need to sew the end with 3/8 of an inch. Okay, Debbie's strap does look really good. Look how close she is. Can you see it, Adam? No?
You've chosen the worst colour.
We have chosen the worst colour. But that was the idea, so you can't see the stitching. But hopefully you can kind of see how close she is to the rectangle ring, and that's why I love hump jumpers. So, hump jumpers are amazing. Yep, Patricia, I'm on board with you on that one.
There you go.
Oh, thank you. That was quick. I suppose that was a short bit. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to press the seam open on this handle. So I like these handles because they have no raw edges. So the only thing you got to hide is that one little seam, and you can just kind of put it on the inside of the handle. Sometimes I put it centered. Sometimes I put it closer to the rectangle ring. Depends how I'm feeling. This is the most awkward bit. There we go. Okay, we're almost there, The other side takes fighting me. Okay.
Happy days once the straps are done.
Oh, yes, it's going to be a relief, isn't it? Can I
The
have a
other
couple of clips?
Yeah. The other bit I'm nervous about is the tongue.
Yeah. You're nervous about the curves?
That curve's hard.
This is a very curvy pattern. But we're going to mark the seam allowances to make it slightly easier. Did we do that on your last one, Debs? I'm not sure.
No, I can't remember actually.
When I say that Debbie's new to bag making, this is literally like your 7th bag, isn't it? And they've all been like quite spaced
less
apart.
than that, yeah.
Okay, so again we're going to put that seam on the inside. We're going to bring one of the rectangle rings up, and I'm going to position this little seam down just below this rectangle ring.
I know you like your clips all the same way around.
I do like my clips the same way around. I can't be the only one. You know that the clips have like a flat edge and a rounded edge, and it does make a difference when you're sewing if they're all on the flat edge. It does. I'm sure I'm not imagining it. Mary, never used a hump jumper. Gotta try hump jumper, Mary. It's amazing for all things that are bulky. Yeah, all your bulky seams and humps. Yeah, it's just brilliant. Laura, Little Stitcher Sews, uses wash away tape all the time, but it doesn't hold stuff for long, so you still need to clip. Yeah, I mean my tape isn't completely flawless, but yeah. maybe I won't. I don't know. I don't know whether to try some wash away. Oh, hello. Nama's from Brazil. Lovely, beautiful, beautiful part of the world. Hello from the Australia, Jane. Oh my goodness, I was going to say, surely it's a little bit late in Australia, but no, it's early. It's 3:37 a.m. Wow, that is early. Patricia, Joe, why didn't you sell the cow zip pulls? Yeah, Adam's been having to get me about this.
We got some cow fabric that I bought, didn't we?
Yeah, I have got like a design of cow zips that I want to get produced. But I'm just waiting because I've got like some custom zip designs that are arriving hopefully next week, but it's all a bit up in the air at the moment. I didn't realise there's a production problem in China because of the global energy crisis. So everything's quite delayed, but hopefully they're coming soon. And for those ones, I've got like some hearts and some surfers and some random stuff like that. And then for my next batch, I've got cow design that I really want to do. Finally. Jodie, next time I visit the family in Cornwall, you can tell me your favourite fabric stores to visit. Oh, if you've been to Traeger Mills. Oh, do you know, I've not been to Traeger Mills to go fabric shopping because we don't really go up that way very often. It's like, it's probably 40 minutes from here. It's really close, to be honest. But we never really go to Traeger Mills.
There's one in Falmouth as well.
There is, but does the Falmouth one do fabric?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Traeger feels like a pilgrimage.
It feels like you've got to,
it's a big deal,
we've got to
isn't
go
it?
up to the very edge of Cornwall. It's actually not that far. But in Cornwall there is a place in Redruth. I've totally forgotten what it's called. I think it might be called the Sewing Studio. And she's got some really cool fabrics. I like her stuff. And then there's also this place in Falmouth that we only ever go to when they've got sales on, don't we, Debs?
Yeah.
What are they called?
Cream of
Cornwall.
Cream of Cornwall.
They do amazing fabrics, but they are ridiculously expensive. So, like once a year, they do like a warehouse sale where you can buy a bag of offcuts, and we just go and get those. And you get like great fabrics, and offcuts are just great for bags because you can just do like a feature panel on the front. So yeah, we love them.
Truro Fabrics?
Truro Fabrics, I forgot about Truro. Truro Fabrics is great, but massive by Cornish standards. Yeah.
What's that one in St Austell where you get your sewing machine service?
Yeah, there's another one in St Austell, Sew and Fabric, I think it's called. Yeah, and she's always got all of the Tula Pink stuff in. She does
Did not know that.
bag making classes, actually. Last time I was in getting my sewing machine serviced. Yeah, so there is actually quite a lot of a sewing scene in Cornwall. And if you know the designer Mrs H, Samantha Hussey, she's called, she is in Cornwall now, and she has got like a sewing class and sewing workshop thing that's starting soon. So I think she's probably got details on her Facebook page. You should check that out if you're ever coming to Cornwall. I love this. I saw a hump jumper the first time on one of my tutorials. After a global search for one, finally got my hands on a hump jumper and nicknamed it Joe. Thanks. I got mine from Amazon, but they call it a bulky sea made, and I think I paid like £3 for it, including delivery. It was so cheap. So I had to buy a second one because one of them's always missing, and yeah, I can only ever find one at a time. Okay, Debs is almost done with his handles. We're almost there with the handles.
Yay.
If you're making your crossbody strap, you're going to have to do your crossbody straps. But since Debbie's almost done, we'll get started on the zips. Okay, if you're using zip by the metre, or zip by the yard for most of you, you will notice that they fray. So what I tend to do to stop mine from fraying is melt the ends. This is just the quickest, easiest way. I've got this weird electric lighter that makes a really nasty noise. Okay, and that will stop it fraying in the future. So we're not actually going to have our zip pulls on yet because it's much easier, I think, to do this part with the zip pulls off. Now, I'm going to measure and mark my zips 3/4 of an inch in from one end. So I'm just marking one side, okay, to start with. So just go with that one. Okay, so I'll just mark that side there. And on this one, I'll mark the opposite side. Okay, so one's marked on this side, one's marked on that side. Open those up. Okay, and we're going to just curve one end of this. Now, you can do this on your sewing machine, but I can never get it to stay in place whilst I'm doing it, so I've just resorted to just doing it by hand because it takes only a second. So where the mark is, you just pinch it like that and fold it so it becomes a curve, like a perfect 90-degree angle. And this is the bit where I just struggle to hold that in place while I'm sewing it on a machine, but loads of people sew this on a machine without any problems, so it's just me. And I just go like that. So I'll just do the same thing on the other end. I'm not a hand sewer. I have no idea how to sew anything else by hand. People talk about ladder stitching and things, I've not got a clue. But this I can do. So you're just going to grab, again, just pinch it together on the line and it'll create that little fold. And then you just want to sew that down. So all you're doing with these stitches is just holding it in place temporarily. It's not going to be structural or anything. Right, sorry, I've missed a load of... Right, let me just catch up with all of your comments. Okay. Oh, Dalva loses her hump jumpers too. I swear they just grow legs and run away. How big is Cornwall? Cornwall's not big. No, it's...
What the population is.
Yeah.
650,000.
650,000. It feels like a lot of people, especially in our town at the moment. But yeah, it's not very big. Especially from where we live, we can get to the bottom in an hour, we can get to the top in an hour, we can get to anywhere within an hour. Most places we can get to within half an hour. And Mrs. H's new place is probably just under half an hour, isn't it, to get to. So yeah, it's all pretty close, to be honest. Used to be a country of its own, Cornwall, once upon a time.
That bobbin that I lost earlier.
We need the lost bobbin. Okay, let me just find it. I can see the thread running underneath the table. Bear with me. Oh, there it is.
Lovely,
Okay.
thank you.
You're going to want to just, rewind it or just snip it off. Okay. Does the curve fall 3/4 of an inch from the end of the tape? Yes, it does, because the curve will be it will be on this line here, because you're pinching that line, so that ends up being the line. So that doesn't need to be, I mean, if it's off slightly, it's not actually going to affect it, so don't panic.
The next sewing tip video is all about zips, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to do a sewing tip video soon because we want to do these short little 5-minute ones, and that'll be about zips, straight zips. Grab your lining piece for your tongue closure, and we're going to fit the magnetic snap next. So you just need to measure it 1 inch up and make sure it's centered. So I'll just do that.
Oh, do these quickly whilst we're waiting.
Oh yeah, because we didn't do those earlier, did we? This ruler is 4.5 inches. It's very odd. It's completely confusing me. See, that doesn't look central to me. Let's try this one. How wide is this? Let's have a look. No. Oh, let's make it. This ruler isn't a lot better. Okay, right. That's about where it needs to be. Right, then grab your washer for your magnetic snap and place that over the mark, and then you just want to mark your side slits. So you need to mark these little side bits here. And then chop through those. And if you're using cotton or anything like that, like we are, then I definitely recommend using some fray check to stop it from fraying where you've cut it. But what I'm going to do first, I'm marking this little scrap of foam as well, because I want to be able to give the magnetic snap something to like hold on to. So I'm going to put this behind it. Could you grab me some fray check, Debs? It's just up there between all the glues. Thanks. Brilliant. So those are the zip tabs that you've just top stitched, is it?
Yep.
Brilliant.
Because I've got the right coloured
Got the right colour?
thread now.
Okay, so now what you want to do, just can never get these separated, is grab the male part of your magnetic snap. Place that through the slits you made, then put it through the foam, but you could use Decaville, Peltex, anything that you like, just something to sort of protect the fabric from the prongs and give it a little bit more substance to hold on to. Okay. And then what are we going to do? Yep, I thought so. Then we want the exterior tongue. Once you've done that, so I'll just set the lining aside. And we're going to measure and mark this tongue piece 7 3/8 of an inch down. So you're measuring from the top edge down, and you want to mark on both sides 7 3/8 of an inch. So this is going to let us fit our zips. Okay. So my marks are just here and here. And then you want to grab your zips. You want to have them so that they're on the inside of the piece, but that curved zip teeth, that's on the mark that you made. Okay, so we're going to need some clips. Are you happy with both the straps, Debbie?
Yep, yeah, very happy actually. Better than my normal attempts at straps.
They look really good, they look really neat. Okay, so then I'm just going to clip this into place up the rest of it. I think I cut my zips too long. Yeah, they're way too long. I like my zips to be a little bit longer so that they really caught in the seam and strengthen it, but that is just, okay, I'm not sure what happened there. Okay, so my mark is where the teeth are, and then you need to do the same thing with this one on the other side. So the mark is going to make sure that your zips are equal, so that they're both lined up. There we go. Oh, I definitely like to have my clips the right way up. Okay, so what you can do if you're doubting yourself like I am is just grab a ruler and check that they're equal. Yeah, they look it. Okay. These are way too long. I don't know what happened here. Okay, and we're just going to baste those zips on.
Okay. Can we cut the top of them off?
Yeah, we can cut the top
I
off.
think it might be because we were using offcuts, weren't we?
We were, but I don't remember them being... I thought that I'd chopped them down, but I don't know. Okay, so I know a lot of people like to chop their zips all the way down, but I like to leave a little bit of space.
Everyone's cats are running away right now.
Yeah,
the sound of that, if you can hear it.
I like to leave a little bit so that it's like strengthens the seam. I don't know. I feel like the way you have to leave handle connectors in the seam, so otherwise if you cut them down they pull out, and I feel like surely the same applies to zips.
So I want to come all the way down. Do you want to go over the top of that one?
Yeah, and just 1/8 of an inch seam allowance.
Okay.
Yeah, you're just basting it in place to hold it temporarily. Okay, if you don't like sewing curves, you can cut out this extra little portion of the pattern, so you can reprint pattern piece C and cut it on the dotted line. And then what you can do is put it onto your lining piece, and you just need to bear in mind, you just need to make sure that you're getting the correct seam allowance all the way around, and it will give you the shape that you need to draw your seam on. So I'm just going to do that because I did do mine, but you can probably tell that's a lot more than a 3/8. Okay, so I'm just going to draw that on because I just think this will make it that little bit easier for Debbie to sew.
Did I read in your last pattern that I need to do it from the same direction?
No, you're okay on that one. Yeah,
Okay.
you're okay on that.
So I can go up from there, do I?
Yeah, you
Okay,
can.
cool. So that's easier.
Yeah, that should be fine on that one. Right, there you go. I've corrected that. So you can draw the seam on, and then what it means is that when you're sewing this, you can just kind of follow that line rather than trying to follow the curve with your presser foot, which can be tough. Does the cat help with the bobbin under the table? She didn't. She's just lying on a bed somewhere, chilling out. She's yeah, she's a little bit old, so she's lazy. Prim wash away tape, Teresa says, is great for zips, but doesn't keep cork straps stuck down. Oh, that's a shame, because that's what I use my double-sided tape for the most.
I think I might have knocked it out of place slightly. Do you want to just check it?
Oh yeah, I can just check it if you want. Do you want to just stop there and just cut it out? Because
Yeah, I have.
yeah.
I think I've just knocked it down when I've done it.
Oh yeah, okay. Let's grab the seam ripper, which I think might be on that wall. Thank you. Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Maybe do start from the top if you want to. Then you won't need to worry about it.
I feel like starting from the bottom's easier, but maybe I should. Yeah.
It is. It always feels like there's a right way to sew and a wrong way to sew, and it feels really, really unnatural going from
Yeah, backwards.
Okay.
So I was just thinking that Valor Home Creations, she's changed her name, hasn't she?
Yeah, now she's called Valor Creative Design, so
Right.
she does really, really cool zips.
Yeah, but I think she did some lilies or something recently, didn't she?
Yes.
I feel like they would actually go really well with this.
They would if they'd arrived, but we've got some coming, but they've not arrived.
I don't know if I can do it from that way, can I?
Yeah, you can do it from the yeah.
Where do I put the...
It feels a bit unnatural sewing from the opposite direction, but
Okay.
the presser foot is it's very similar. Like you just need to go for it. You're only basting, don't worry. So long as you're not like sewing over the zip, you'll be fine. Because then you know your seam's too big. What threads do you use now? Okay, it's thicker than normal sewing thread. Yeah, it's a little bit thicker. So I tried some thicker threads on my domestic machine and it hated them, absolutely hated them, especially in the bobbin. And I didn't really want to be using different thread in my bobbin to what I was using in the top. And so I've ended up using this Sabertex 40 thread, which I get from Little Stitcher Sews. So it's handy because she's got that discount code at the moment, and she's got quite a few colours. It's thicker than the Gutermans that I used to use, and it's thicker than the Coates Moon threads that I used to use. But my bobbin loves it, so it's obviously like just the perfect weight. It's like the heaviest that you can get before your domestic machine chews it up. That's what it seems like. So yeah, my machine loves it. Picking up bobbins and clips as part of the bag making process. Yeah, especially the Wonder clips. Man, they fly, don't they? They're just all over the house. They just seem, you're like, as you're fitting them, they just ping off. Okay, once you've got your zips attached, so you've still got no zip pulls on them, try to keep them, like zipped up at the back. It'll just make it slightly easier for you. It's not the end of the world if the whole thing comes apart, but you can see mine's still zipped up here. Now we're going to attach the lining piece. So we're going to put that right sides together with the exterior, and I just try and line up all the edges and clip it together. Ah, there's the cat. Just heard her come in to get her food. Okay, so just, yeah, make sure you've got that neatly lined up. You're clipping these right sides together. So the zips are going to be in between and the magnetic snap is going to be in between. Hello, Phoebe. So Phoebe's our cat that we've had since we got married 13 years ago. So she was a little bit older when we got her, so we think she's pretty old now. Okay, I think that's maybe a couple more. You can never have too many clips, can you? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to sew, and this way you can see that it's easier that it's been drawn on. But because of the zips, we want to get like as close as we can get to the zips, and a lot of people use a zip foot for this, which is great, but I struggle to get like a really straight line with a zip foot, so I tend to use a standard presser foot and then I move my needle over, because you can change the needle position on most domestic machines. And then that way I can just kind of like run it against the zip teeth. The zip teeth guide the presser foot the whole way. That makes sure that this bit is totally straight until I get to the curve, and then I just follow the line that I've drawn all the way around. You also need to be a little bit careful that you don't get too close to the magnetic snap. So using a zip foot or moving your needle is a great way to make sure you get past that easily. You're going to be sewing over the zip teeth just here. This is why like nylon zip teeth is great, because you can sew over them. And you're going to use a shorter stitch length, aren't you? Because
of the bends, the curves. Somebody said on the last sew along, it's easier to get around the curves, and it's true.
Yeah, it is easier to get around the curves if you've got a shorter stitch length. So, well, you're going to go with like a 2 or something?
Yeah, I think so.
We're using cotton, so there's nothing wrong going nice and short. To be honest, when you get to the curves, you could just take it down to like a 1.5, because I don't think it's going to be a problem with the cotton. If we were using cork or something, I don't want to go too small, but I don't think we'll have a problem with that.
Okay, let's see how this goes.
Don't forget to backstitch.
Yes.
I only say that because Debbie often forgets to backstitch.
I really do.
Okay, so you're just going to sew that for us.
I think you've got 2 thank yous to say, haven't you?
Oh, okay.
Subscribers.
Already hitting me.
I have. Oh,
And,
yeah.
that
So
response on Facebook from a couple of days ago.
I know. Yeah. So we hit 8,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel the other day, which is amazing. I was really, really happy about that. So thanks to everybody who's subscribed, because that was a really big goal for us. I didn't think I'd ever make it to that sort of number, so I'm really happy with that. And also, yeah. So I some of you know, like I try really, really hard to make sure that I do give the best service that I can for patterns and things like that. But I tried my hardest with this one particular situation last week or this week, and yeah, and still I got like a kind of I got a less than stellar review on my Google, so I was a bit gutted, and I asked for anybody who had bought a pattern to like put a review on Google to sort of help me out with that, and it's really good for like your website for Google ranking and stuff. So I said if anybody could like give a review, an honest review. I'm always happy to hear feedback if you've got constructive criticism. That's what I like, rather than just straight out criticism. So I asked, and the next thing I knew, I had like 85 new reviews. I could not believe it. So, yeah, massive thank you to anybody that left a review. That was amazing, and it's made such a big difference. Google have already sent me a little email saying that it's made a difference. So that's really good. Yeah, it's been a good week. Is the zip tape upside down? If you're looking at it from the exterior, yes. Yeah. So it's like it's right side down onto the right side of the exterior. So let's grab an exterior piece. So that's the right side of the zip, and we're sewing it like that, and then we put the lining on top like that. So what will happen is once we've sewn it, it will be like that, and it'll be the right way up. I see you've zigzag stitched the foam on the tongue. Is that going to be easier? I was wondering about the best way to do it as Decaville's not bulky like foam. Yeah, so we did. Oh, you've already finished, Debs. That's quick.
Obviously
That's
it's different to the actual foot. That's because my presser foot was right up against the zip. So
yeah. No, that's fine. So long as it's close.
Words out.
It's the curves we're worrying about. Yeah. So we did zigzag stitch the foam on. Onto the tongue. Yeah, I'm of two minds on zigzagging. So foam, you don't want it to be bulky in the seams, so you can either zigzag stitch it, which we did for this one, which kind of like compresses it on that edge, or you can baste it on and then trim it out afterwards, and then obviously you don't have any bulk in the seam. So normally I do that, but we decided to zigzag stitch today, and we'll see now whether that was a mistake or not.
Here's the fun part.
Yeah. So now you want to push your tongue out. If you are using Decaville, the pattern says don't fit the Decaville until after you've turned it, because if you're trying to turn this with the Decaville in it, it's a bit of a nightmare.
I think Phoebe wants to say hello. Oh. She's not so sure now. I think she can smell my dog, can't you?
Okay, so as you're turning this out, try not to just like completely undo the zips. I mean, if you do, yeah, it's not the end of the world, but I find it slightly easier if they just stay done up. So foam is tough to get out. The Decaville, because you fit it afterwards, is not this difficult. Okay, do you mind getting me one of my the pink turning tool next to the screwdriver? Thanks, Deb. Okay, so we've got this turning tool that I got from Amazon. I think I just typed in sewing turning tool and it came up. And I kind of use that to poke stuff out. Although this is really going to need some poking out. Okay. I don't tend to use the pointy end because I've just gone straight through fabric with that before. So I use like the flat end of it just to be safe. So this is a bit of a faffy step, but if you spend a minute doing this, it will make it look a whole lot better. Okay, thinking that I should have not zigzagged the foam. This was a little bit of a trial. Yeah, I think I would next time baste it on and then trim it out before I turn it because it's feeling a little bit bulky in that seam.
Chunky tongue.
It is going to be a chunky tongue. There we go. I think we're good there. Okay, if you've got your iron around, press it because, yeah, pressing always helps. Okay, I'm going to pull the zip like a little bit away so that I can kind of press those edges. Again, if you've got an iron, it's going to be easier. Okay, I might just put a couple of clips to try and squeeze that down whilst you're getting to it. Okay, so what we're going to do next is top stitch this, which is going to be tough because of the thickness and also because you're going to have to watch out for this snap.
Okay.
Okay, because it is quite close to the edge, purely because when I did the prototypes and it was further down, the tongue kept like sort of getting caught. So yeah, we're going to have to be careful with that. Right, and I'll just clip that tongue open. Oh, there we go.
So all the way along the top and the whole way round.
Yep, along the top the whole way round. I would, because we're going through so many layers, I would increase the top tension a bit. What's it on at the moment? Because mine's always near the top anyway.
I have no idea.
Oh,
Is that this one?
yeah, just get it a little bit higher. There you go.
Okay.
Long stitch length number 4. It's going to make it a little bit harder around the curves, but it's going to make the rest of it look a lot neater.
Okay.
Okay, that should be it. Just take your time as you get to those curves. So we're just going to top stitch that tongue now.
1/8 of an inch.
1/8 of an inch, yeah. Patricia Sabertex thread is lovely. It is lovely. It's really lovely. Yeah.
might actually.
Ah, so I'm just having catch up on your comments. Ah, thanks, Teresa. So anybody that's joined late, if you didn't hear at the beginning, we've got some special offer discount codes for blended threads and little stitcher sews. So if you check the comments and scroll up, you'll see a comment from Adam somewhere on there.
I've still got my needle to the left.
Oh yeah, okay.
But I've started on the top, thankfully, so I
Okay.
can just turn it. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
Brilliant. I started on the top to try and hide my back stitch.
So as you're doing it, just try and make sure that your zip is sort of, like kept away from your, because we haven't pressed it, it's gonna kind of retract into itself a little bit, and just take your time with it, because you're going through quite a lot of bulk.
And you're on YouTube.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if I sew over my fingers, everyone's going to see.
Oh, thanks, Nancy. That's really nice. I tried to be easy, but the lives are very nerve-wracking. Mainly because you're worried that something's going to go wrong. Would you suggest using woven interfacing before adding Decador Heavy? Yes, always. I always add woven interfacing to stop wrinkling, and it gives like a different kind of strength to the fabric. It feels like, whereas Decador Heavy gives like stability, the woven interfacing stops it from fraying on the edges, and it makes it feel more durable, like it's not going to wear over time as easily, and it's not going to tear or anything like that. So I add woven interfacing to like everything. I just feel like it's going to make it so much more durable, regardless of whatever stabilizer I'm using. So I know a lot of people don't, but yeah, I do. I don't want to take any risks when I'm making a bag and putting all that effort into it. I want to make sure it's going to last a long, long time.
Oh, just struggling.
Oh
over that.
yes, pinking shears. Yes, we should have used pinking shears on the curves before we turned it out. Yeah, really good idea to use pinking shears. They are great. And I normally do. Don't worry, Debs, you're doing good, you're doing good.
I am hand cranking the corners.
Yeah, no, you should. I think hand cranking the corners is always a good idea.
Oh no.
Just take your time.
I've just broken my needle.
Oh, you're just breaking a needle, okay.
It did feel a little bit dodgy there. Okay.
Okay,
I'm
so,
not sure where my needle is.
yeah, watch out for your needle. You don't want it to go
Or
in.
it's going to fly a mile, I think.
Maybe we should have changed to a larger needle because we'd started off with a 70 because we were just basting. But that is there's a lot of foam in there. I would definitely recommend not zigzagging your foam on for the tongue.
Have you got anything I can grab?
Do you want some help, Dibs?
Yeah. Do you want to grab that out?
Yeah, I'll grab it.
I'm just going to shut the legs of the dogs outside.
Oh yeah, let me just, there you go. Don't push on the foot pedal. I probably should have turned the machine off. There you go. So you're going to want to just change the needle. So there's a little screwdriver there. Yep, and my needles are up by the sewing machine oil. And you're going to want to put a bigger needle in.
I have a feeling this happened last time, didn't it?
Part 3, Memexa Sewalong.
Yeah.
Was that one where you broke a needle?
Yeah, broken needle.
Oh.
Which ones do I
So
want?
I haven't broken a needle in months. Right, I would go with a size 90 because we've got loads going on here. Loads and loads of bulk.
One of these universals, yeah?
Yeah, universal, yeah, because we're doing cotton. So what I'm going to do, because we've got like a stitch halfway through, is I'm going to tie it off on the lining side and then trim it down because I don't want this to come loose. And then when you back stitch, when you restart, then thankfully we're using a matching thread.
Flat bit at the back.
Flat bit, yeah.
Do you remember
flat
what
bit
happened last time?
at the back. Yes, I do remember the last sew along. We were confused about why the machine wasn't working, but it was just because the needle was fitted incorrectly, wasn't it?
So I've just pushed it up and in. That's okay.
So is it all the way up?
I think so. Pushed it all the way
And
up.
the flat edge is right at the back. Yeah, that looks good.
Okay.
You look good.
And I can't remember how to get the press foot back in.
Oh, so you just put it onto that, and then pull this bit down at the back. There you go.
That's it, yeah?
Yep, make sure that's nice and tight. Right, so I just triple knotted that, and then you can back stitch over that just to make sure. It was going so well.
It was going too well.
Okay, so just thankfully we've got a matching stitch, so it's not going to be too much of a problem if you just back stitch it there, and then that will secure the old thread and the new thread. Ah, it's very real. Impressed at Deb's poise sewing under the eyes of YouTube. I know, because she is so new to sewing. Like, yeah, this is...
I've got to now back stitch around the corner.
There you go, that's plenty. Yeah, and it's not, this pattern's not a beginner friendly pattern, so yeah, she's doing really good. I just like to throw her in the deep end. Oh, I'm glad it's good to see issues like this and how we solve them. We do have these problems in real life, yeah. When you do a YouTube tutorial, obviously you get to like cut out all the bits where something's gone slightly wrong. Oh, cat. There we go. That's all you get for now.
Oh, I've just gone over the edge. I like the bits that you know are hidden.
Yeah, and you know you can make a mistake and no one's going to see it. No one's going to see that. Okay, so next we are creating the rest of the top panel. So, oh sorry, I've got both pairs of scissors. There you go. So you're going to want to trim down your little threads.
I know, I hate my threads.
Debbie loves leaving like these really long threads on everything. And then there's just so many threads around when we're doing stuff. Okay, so grab one of your top panel pieces. You should have two of these. And if you cut it out so that they match, then make sure that you got the right one, because I forgot to do that on one of my last ones. Okay. Now I'm totally confused. Yeah, that one's on there. Okay. So we're going to flip this over so it's right sides together with the zip. Line up that back edge. So if you want to, you can mark the zip to make sure that it's right. But I'm just going to eyeball it. Okay, and clip that down that edge.
Cat allergies are kicking in.
Yeah, Debbie's got quite bad cat allergies.
So it can never resist the cat.
I always come in and find her cuddling the cat and sneezing because of it. Okay, so what you're going to do is just baste that. So you're going to fit the lining one on in a minute, so you're literally just basting it to hold it in place.
Just on this side, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. 1/8 of an inch?
Yeah. Yeah, always baste with an 1/8 just to make sure that it's not going to show. Ah, you're doing great, Debs.
Oh, thank you. A little bit of a panic back there.
Issues and whipsies give us stories to tell and laugh about later. Oh, this just makes it so much more realistic. Everyone that makes bags seems to be a cat person. Oh no, we do like dogs too. Debbie has a slightly crazy cockapoo. I mean, he is just mental.
All cockapoos are crazy, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. It's a wild breed. He's very cute and very wild.
Not quite as cute at the moment because I've accidentally shaved him.
Grab your lining piece. And what you want to do is put it on the other side, so on the lining side of the zip. So it's kind of going to be right sides together with this piece, in effect, but everything else is in between. And just make sure they're lined up nicely and clipped together. Yeah, so Debbie's dog groomer, what did you do? Did you break his arm or something and you had to shave the dog yourself and
well,
use the wrong gradient on it?
Yeah, I got new clippers and I didn't realise the numbers go in reverse, so they recommended a number 7. It arrived with a number 10 and I thought, well, that'd be fine, it'd be nice and long. And he's naked. Poor dog.
He looks ridiculous.
He does. Once you get so far though, you just have to fully commit.
Okay, and then you're going to sew down here. So again, this is where I use my normal presser foot and move the needle over. and then just sew straight down this zip edge. And yeah, what stitch length are we on? Are we on like a 3?
All of 3.
Oh yeah, that's great. Okay, and
Okay.
make sure you backstitch. Yeah, you got a few dog lovers here.
Oh, I do love
Oh,
dogs.
what is Dalva? What is a Cotondatulia? Is that a dog? His name is Mr. Darcy. He's a
that's
Pride and
amazing.
Prejudice fan. We love Mr. Darcy. Yeah, Adam's been talking about going up to see family near the Peak District, which is where Pride and Prejudice is like filmed. What is the house called in Pride and Prejudice? Oh, Mr. Darcy's house. Chatsworth House, yeah, is up there. Mr. Darcy's house. So it's like a beautiful part of the country. We're gonna hopefully go up soon. Looking good, Debs. Looking good.
Oh, keep nearly opening those zips all the way.
If you do open the zips all the way, it's not the end of the world. You could no, don't.
It's a bit of
Yeah, we
extra
could just put
work,
like
isn't
clips
it?
on the end, but okay. So now that those two are attached, you want to like pull them away from the zips. So if you've got an iron, go ahead and press this. Oh, all right. Press it away. Now this is where having foam is definitely more intense, and what you can do is trim the foam out. So you just remove your basting stitches and then cut the foam out, and then it's a lot easier to kind of top stitch this. But because we've not done that on the tongue, I'm not going to do it because otherwise one of them would be thicker than the other one.
We don't want to make things too easy.
Yeah, we don't want to make it too easy for Debbie. Got to have them matching now that we've done it. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of pull them away. Yeah, if you've got your iron out, just give it a press. We haven't unfortunately got enough room in here to have an iron out as well. We're a little bit tight for space. Oh, look at that, my zip is really getting close. I might just put a clip on the end of it. There we go. Anyway. Okay, so I'm just going to clip them together purely to like hold them in place. Yeah. I'm going to push the lining away from the zip, get a nice neat finish. There we go. Okay, now you're just going to top stitch this edge with an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. So,
And look how beautifully those stripes go together.
oh, they do, don't they? And make sure you're using whatever stitch length you were using when you were top stitching. We were using 4, weren't we?
Oh
When we were top stitching the tongue so that they match.
Oh, and to straighten up my needle. Can't believe I remembered that.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing you remembered that. Oh, we've got loads of dogs. Loads of dog lovers. I love that I'm instructing a new bag maker. Yeah, although once Debbie gets more experienced, I'm going to have to do my sew-alongs with Adam. So,
That would be a disaster.
oh no, I'm sure you'll be quite good at it actually. Oh, Hazel's got a French bulldog. They're pretty cute. Do I use a 3 stitch for my normal seams and a 4 for top stitching? Teresa, yes. Most of the time, especially if I'm using cork, I use a 3. If I'm using cotton, sometimes I go down like to a 2 or something, especially if I'm doing like structural seams that might, where they're going to be on show, I'll go as short as I can. But if I'm using cork or vinyl, I don't ever go below a 3 because I'm worried about it perforating and like tearing, because I've heard horror stories. So yeah, I just try and be careful with that. Debs, that looks amazing.
It's coming together.
Okay, we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Grab this panel. Oh, there's threads everywhere. Make sure that you've got it the right way round if it's, cut to match, and place that right side down on the zip. So if you want to and you're feeling confident, you can do, you can clip the lining into place and sew these both at the same time. I like to baste the exterior on first and then sew the lining because I just feel like I'm more likely to get a really nice finish, and just want to take the extra time to get it really nice. There you go.
Which is the best direction?
Probably from here, yeah, and just baste it in place that way.
1/8 of an inch?
Yep. 1/8 of an inch again. Ooh, just, oh. Oh, Terry, you lost your Shih Tzu on Monday. Oh, that's really sad.
Oh, it's heartbreaking losing a pet.
It is so heartbreaking. We lost another cat. We had brother and sister for 13 years, and then we lost the brother a couple of months ago, wasn't it? And it was a lot more emotional than I ever thought it was going to be. Yeah, we were devastated. It's amazing how attached you get to animals. The dog is known as the royal dog of Madagascar, same family as the Maltese. Oh my goodness, the Maltese are so cute. Yeah, we used to have a neighbour that bred Maltese. They are like tiny little bundles of white fluff. Oh my goodness, they're so cute. Yeah, I like those, so I'm sure I'd like that. Okay, so where's our other lining piece? Oh, there it is. I'm going to put the lining piece right sides together. Do you know, it's a good thing that they matched because I didn't check that the stripes were the right way around. Put that on right sides together with, so it's sort of right sides together with this, but everything's in between. Right, and we're just going to clip those together. So you're just doing the exact same thing that you did on the other side. Stripes, I never think they're going to match. I just feel like they're a very difficult thing to get right. Yeah, looking pretty good though. Okay, you're going to sew that now, and
So
make sure you move your needle over. Stick it onto a 3 stitch length or shorter, whatever you want really for cotton.
And I'm going up along the side here.
Yep. Ah, we love Debbie, says Ruth.
Oh, thanks, Ruth. Definitely doesn't feel like my forte.
Very love that you're not using an industrial. Yeah, I've never actually used an industrial, but there's supposed to be a place really close to here in Falmouth where they sell industrial machines, and I gotta admit I'm kind of tempted just to go down and just try one day. Definitely never going to get one because we don't have space, but I'd love to just try one and see what they're like, see what all the hype's about. But then maybe I'd regret that because I'd, not be able to go back. Okay, so that is sewn into place. Now we're just going to press that back. So again, we're just pressing it away from the zip on both sides. And then we're going to top stitch this panel. So you're almost there with your top panel. Was that a sigh of relief, Debs?
Yeah,
Whew,
it's okay. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No, that's next week when we're sewing all the big curves on the side, Deb.
Oh yeah, that's true.
No, it'll be fine. Okay, I'm just going to push that back. Right, and you're just top stitching that edge. I'm just going to put a zip up there as well. I'll clip. We haven't put our zip pulls on yet. We put them on at the end.
We do have a low power mode here on the.
Okay, that's
Camera.
yeah.
It's plugged in.
All right, you might lose the sewing machine camera at some point, but hopefully not. Okay, so we are getting there with this. Right, after Debbie's top stitched that, we're going to put the zip pulls on, and then we're going to get it marked out ready for fitting the handles. So today we're just getting to the point where we fit the handles. These handles are looking really good, Debs. I'm pretty glad that you used a matching thread because it just looks so neat, actually.
I'm glad we used matching thread.
Yeah, we're going to get to the point where we finish the top panel, fit the handles, and then we're going to finish. And next week we're going to be doing the rest of the panel to like create it into the tube that it needs to be, and then we'll fit the ends and bind them. So that should be, we should be finished around about 7 today. What time is it? Yeah, we'll probably finish about 7 today, and then tomorrow, next Sunday, not tomorrow, next Sunday, it will probably be about maybe an hour and a half. Is your Miyako tote a new pattern? Yes, it is, yeah. So I just released it today. It's brand new. That's my new pattern that I've done quilting on and a drop-in lining because I just wanted to, well, you can probably tell I try and do something new in every pattern. The Lowarn pattern zips and curves, you know, together. That was the new thing for that. So I tried something new for each one, and the Miyokyo has a drop-in lining and quilting, and that's what's new in that one.
Kind of sounds like a wine to me.
I know. I was thinking about Merlot. It started off as a Cornish word, and it just changed, and it's ended up being Miyoko. Okay, so we're going to put the zips on.
Before they
I'm
fall
wishing
off.
this one hadn't come quite so separated, but there you go. So I'm just going to separate my zip a little bit. Hopefully it's still got a couple of teeth linked. Grab the rounded end of your zip. If you've not used nylon zip tape before, this is how you use it. And you just stick one end in a little bit into the round, the other end in a little bit to match, and then you need to have it on a flat surface and push down on the tape, and you just pull your zip on.
Nicely done.
Like so. So that's yeah, this is the way I use zip tape. So just pull it apart a little bit, and then you just put the rounded end on, one end in at a time. So you just want them to go in a little bit. You want to make sure that they're going in by like an even amount. Push your fingers down on the zip tape and just put it on. Okay, so that's both of our zips on. Right, next we need to mark up ready for the handles. So we're just going to mark what we're going to do. Yeah, okay. So much stuff in the way. Right, here we go. Let's get rid of these tips so that we can measure this nice and easy. Right, we're measuring 1.5 inches in from this edge. Okay, and then 1/2 inch up from the short ends. So I'm just going to mark, so I'm going to mark it up to the 1/2 inch and then a little bit across. And on this one, so that's 1/2 inch. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm going to do the same thing on this other side.
Sorry.
You can't get into your devs.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay, and this is going to be a whole lot more hump jumping as well. Okay, clip your lining out of the way. So just like pull your lining pieces together and clip them, because we don't want to be sewing through the lining right now. We're just sewing through the exterior. Sorry, Devs. I'm not getting rid of the cat for you. Okay, and then you need to grab one of your handle connectors. So you're going to have like one end that's got the open seam on it, okay? And you want that to be, I think, right side down. Yes, you do. Oh no, hang on. Yeah, right side down. So basically that open seam is pointing upward toward you.
What colour thread do I want?
You're going to want navy thread. Yeah, that's a good idea. Match it to the handle connectors. Whatever thread you're using, what you want to match. Now you've got this 1/2 inch mark. So basically you want this to be 1/2 inch up from the bottom. This is going to mean that your seams aren't overly bulky. So it's going to be 1.5 inches in from here, 1/2 inch up from here. So you can just check that you're 1.5 inches in, that it's nice and straight. And I might just use some double-sided tape to make this a little bit easier on us. If I can find the double-sided tape. Oops, we all out of double-sided? Oh, there it is. It's right next to me. This will just make it a little bit easier. Oh dear, this is not wanting to play. There we go. Okay, so it's right side down, it's 1/2 inch up. There we go. Right, I haven't made a Lowarn in a little while, so I'm just double checking the pattern as I go. That's why I'm looking at my iPad. Okay, yeah, so what we're going to do is we're just going to sew this this connector here to sew it, to hold it in place. That's all we're going to do. We just want it to hold in place. Do not go off the edges of the handle connector, just so like on the inside of it. You right there, Debs? Do you need some help?
No, you're done.
Alright. Yeah, and so we're going to do this with all 4, but we'll start with just one to start with. Let's grab the others. Okay. So you're just sewing this, and you're just sewing, do not go off the edges. You're just sewing a little bit, like with 1/8 of an inch just here. It's just going to hold it in place.
Okie dokie.
So it doesn't move. Okay, and I'll get the other 4 ready. Other 3. I feel like I've lost one of my handle connectors. Oh, it's on the floor.
Well, the pressure to not go off the edge.
Don't worry, you don't have to go too close to the edge. Yeah, Terry, a 201. Yeah, because I've got a Singer 201. It's just so good at bag making. And this Benina is incredible. The vintage machines are really, really good. Okay, good?
Yep.
Okay, so now you know what you're doing. I'm going to put the others, I'll put 2 of them on. And that one. Okay, so I know it looks a bit odd that we're sewing this 1/2 inch up, but there's a method to the madness, and it's going to make it a lot easier later on. Okay, so they're just stuck on with double-sided tape. So you just want to do the same thing with both of those. Looks very pretty. It does look pretty. It's going to be a pretty bag, isn't it? I always think I'm not a pink lover, but my bags say otherwise. Oh, so Becky, I've got a video for the Miyako, which I put up this morning on my YouTube. Debbie was like, "Oh, we should be doing that for the sew-along. It's so much easier."
Yeah, when I read through the instructions yesterday.
She's proofreading it for me, going, "This is so much easier." Yeah, it's a bit more of a beginner-friendly pattern for sure. How often do you plan on releasing new patterns? It kind of depends on how life's going. So I have got quite a lot of patterns in the works. The problem is everything else. So we've got just a few family responsibilities. Deb, there you go. There's the last one. That one.
Thank you.
So both of our mums live with us because they have different disabilities that they live. We sort of all live together, but in flats together. So it all depends how stuff's going with that. My health, all sorts of different things. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The next 7 patterns planned. Yeah, and I've got the pattern pieces drawn up for most of them. So it's just kind of, yeah, it just depends when things, but maybe every couple of months I think we average, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what you got. They're all sewn on like this, which is great. That's how you want them. And now we're going to start fitting the handles. So we'll just do one to start with. Let's go with this one. Okay, so what we're going to do is remember that if you've got a seam, well, wherever that seam is, you kind of want it to be on the inside so it's not showing when you're using the bag. So that's going to be that. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so you're going to put this handle connector through the ring, and then you're going to pull it down to the edge. So now you're going to see why we did it 1/2 inch away, because when we sew this seam later, it's only going to have one layer of the handle connector because the other one's there. But you need to make sure when you're sewing this on that it's nice and straight so nobody can see that it ends. Yeah, so it's going to be hidden under there. So, are you ready, Deb?
I think so.
This is where you're going to want the hump jumper, yeah. And to be honest, you're probably going to want to do all of this like with hand cranking it. Just take your time.
So coming up.
So yeah, so you're coming up, across, and back down, just like you did with the strap, and change it to a 3 stitch length like you did with the strap. So this is why I did a number 3 stitch length for my strap, which is a bit short for a strap, but because I wanted it to match the handle connectors, and I want the handle connectors to be really well fixed on. Okay.
1/8 of an inch?
Yeah. Yep, 1/8 of an inch. Yep. Make sure you back stitch.
Yeah.
Hi Peg. Yeah, we're almost done. We're almost done. But if you have only just joined, you missed the discount codes that we got at the beginning from Blended Threads in Canada and Little Stitches Sews. So if you search through the comments, you'll see a comment from Adam with the codes for the discounts, which is just active for the next couple of days. So check those out. So Debbie's just sewing on her first handle. Yeah, this is definitely a hump jumper. It just gives such a neat finish because it means you can get right up against that rectangle ring.
I feel like I almost know what I'm doing.
You do. You look at you, go for it. Once you've done 4 of these in a row as well, you definitely know what you're doing. I think a lot of it's just about taking your time. Oh, there's the other handle.
Oh, I have misjudged this one a little bit.
Will anybody ever know when it's got navy thread on navy cork?
Okay. Yeah, I've done it a bit far over. Should have done another stitch. Okie dokie.
No, that's looking good. It's looking good, Debs. Okay. So then what we're going to do is carry this one over to the other side. So, yeah, that's how I want it to go. I want it to go like that. Okay, and then clip that down to make sure this comes right down into the edge, because by bringing it down into the edge, you're not going to have any raw edges on show. So just check that you're happy with everything and then sew that one into place. So once we've got the handles on, the only thing we've got to do is to put our zip tabs on, like grab tabs on the back of the bag. Well done, Debs, you're doing amazing. You are. Sherry is right. You are doing great. Off to scooter while it's still warm in Colorado, says Mary. Ooh, is it still warm? Ooh, it's I don't know, it is warm here, but it's also stormy. So it's gotten windy, and then it's sunny, and then it's cloudy, and then it's raining, and it's just up and down, isn't it? You don't know what to do. You feel like when you go outside, like you need to take every item of clothing. One minute you're hot, and next minute you're getting soaked.
It's just autumn in England.
It is autumn. Yeah. We love autumn though, because you can get your slippers out and get your dressing gown out. Yeah, it's lovely.
Oh, sorry, I'm having a bit of trouble with this one.
Do you want any help, or are you quite happy with it?
No, I think it'll be alright, yeah. Come, get in there.
If in doubt, just hand stitch it all the way. Is the zip...
Oh no, I've just hit there.
So just lift up your needle a little bit.
Right,
And just, okay, yeah, you can get... You got away with it. That's another reason to hand crank that bit, because you do not want to plough into the rectangle ring with your needle.
It's getting awkward now there's lots of stuff.
I can give it a try. It might make it worse. Better or worse?
It's not flickering.
Oh, that's good. Right.
Okay.
But the lighting on the sewing machine is a difficult one to get right.
Well, it's also just ever changing, isn't it? Hang on a minute, where's my...
Oh no, yeah. Have you got a...
It's up, there's just no space for it.
Oh, it's because you're so you're like kind of on top of the ring with your stitching. Don't forget to put the presser foot back down now, because sometimes because it's wedged, you forget to put it back down, or I do anyway.
Yep, I nearly did.
Doing great, Debs.
Okay, we'll just give one more anyway.
How did you get started designing bag patterns? Oh, so Yeah, on our 10th wedding anniversary, Adam decided to make me a bag because he loves leatherwork. So he made me this really cool bag, which if you go, do you want to grab it, Adam? It's so weird because I don't know if you've seen the new Aura Rosa patterns, but she just reminded me of that because Adam asked me what bag I wanted, and I said I wanted one where the sides come out. Good job, Debbie. Okay, so hang on a minute. We'll just show you. Okay, so we're just going to do the zip tabs. So if you already made your zip tabs earlier when we made the handle connectors, you just want to put them. So this is like the wrong side. You just fold them like that and place them on the back. Make sure that it's centered on your zip and it's up against this edge here. So ignore the fact that my zip is long because I like my zips long. So I'm going to leave my zip long. And I'm just going to clip that in place. Okay, and we're just going to sew that zip tab on, and we'll do the same thing with the other one. So when you're doing this, Debs, just make sure that everything's nice and flat because the lining's going to pull it up a bit.
Okay.
Oh, actually, do you know what? I'm just going to unclip the lining for a moment because I've just realised that I'm going to sew right through it. There we go. Okay. Right, so I'm just going to clip that into place and you can just sew that is on.
And these zip tabs are really helpful, aren't they, when you're trying to open and close the zips
They
on this
are.
bag?
They make it much easier to open and close the bag. Yeah, for sure. Okay, right, I'm making a palaver of this. Okay, just going to clip that one down there so you don't sew through it by mistake. I thought that clip was going to go then. Okay, so that's how we're sewing those zip tabs on. And those, yeah, they are going to make life easier. They're going to make the seam a bit bulkier, but that's why we used cotton for them.
So just straight across top?
Just do, but I would hand crank it because we haven't changed the size of the needle and there's a lot of layers and a zip in there. So I just hand crank it over a few times.
And it doesn't matter that I've got the dark blue thread in there?
No, that's fine because you're doing it in the seam allowance. Okay, yeah, so designing bags. Okay, so...
I've never made anything before.
Yeah, this is the first bag Adam had ever made. He really wanted to try leather work, and he'd done like what are they called? Key rings and that sort of thing, hadn't you? Yeah. So I said I wanted a bag where the sides come out. Okay, so if you've seen the new Aura Rosa pattern, it's got sides that come out like this. It's amazing, and I was like, oh man, that is exactly what I love about this bag. So Adam based this on something that he found online.
I think I've broken.
Oh, you did break a needle.
But it's because I needed a back stitch and I thought I can't.
Oh yeah, okay.
Back
You don't need to back stitch,
okay.
But yeah, we will need to put a bigger needle in.
Sorry, broken another needle.
Debbie's on a roll. I haven't broken one in so long. I was feeling like really good about it.
Yep. Sorry. Get through your allowance of needles at this rate. I'm not sure how to wriggle it all out.
Oh, here you go. Where's your needle gone?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. You're
Not sure.
Alright, let's just wiggle that out. There we go. There's a needle.
Oh, sorry. Another one bites the dust.
Alright.
So no back stitching.
Yeah, don't worry because you're just basting these in place. That's
Okay.
all. All you want to do is just hold them in place temporarily. So grab yourself a nice big needle. That one.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, okay, so Adam made me this bag for our anniversary, for our 10th anniversary, and yeah, it's just, I loved it. So then I just started thinking, like, how cool would it be if you could make your own bags and actually like make them exactly how you want them, because it took Adam ages to figure out how to make this, and I was like, oh, it'd be great if we could design them ourselves. And yeah, that's how I ended up getting into bag designing, because I'd started sewing because of my health, because I've got long-term pericarditis, so I can't do any of my old activities like surfing and skateboarding and badminton and squash. So I took up sewing, and then when Adam did that, I was like, oh, making bags. That would be awesome. So I just started designing patterns. Yeah, and it all just sort of came together. And then my grandmother gave me this machine because I was using. My mum had bought me a Brother machine for £100 off Amazon, like a bit earlier, because when I got ill, she bought it for me and said, "Oh, you should take up sewing." And I was like, And I'd done sewing, and then I started making bags, and then I decided to start pattern designing, and then my grandmother gave me that shortly afterwards, and it's just amazing. It's absolutely brilliant because the Brother was, I could do it, but it was a cheap as far as sewing machines go, and I wasn't at that point sort of experienced enough, and I wasn't using like the right size needles all the time. I wasn't using hump jumper all the time, so I was really struggling on certain things. So getting this machine is just, yeah, it was a game changer. Ooh, you're writing your first pattern as you watch. Oh, my first pattern was it was so scary, but I absolutely loved it, but it was so scary. So I think my first pattern that went to the testing team, it was brutal because they had so many recommendations. They still have loads of recommendations nowadays, actually, but it's the first time, I think there was just so many things that I hadn't thought of, and the testers were amazing, and I just think I never could have done it without them. They gave so much advice. So your testing team is like really important. Okay, we've got our tabs on. Okay, so the very last thing we're going to do is attach the other handle, and then we're done for today. And I'm aware that Debbie has to go pick up her kids at 7, so if you can't get both of these done before you go, Debs, don't worry, because it's, yeah, we've done the rest. Right, I'll just clip the lining back out of the way. Right, do you want to just sew that one on first? So you're just doing the same thing. You might want to move the zips out of the way.
Oh yeah.
Might make it a little bit easier.
So hump jumping my way.
Yeah, Debbie's becoming well acquainted with the hump jumper. Yeah. But you love it, don't you?
Yeah, it does. It definitely helps, that's for sure.
On your handle connectors, you can add rivets as well if you want to, which we might do later maybe. I might try and put a couple on there and see what they look like. But when I'm using rivets, I just punch the holes with these, and I set them with my rivet press. So they're pretty quick to do. Hand crank it. Oh yes, turning the wheel of the sewing machine by hand. Yeah. Now I'm starting to wonder whether hand cranking is the right word for it, but I never actually got taught to sew, so sometimes I use the wrong terms. So I apologise for that. But I just kind of winged it the whole way, and yeah, I just kind of took apart clothes that I liked, tried to remake them, and then yeah, when my grandmother gave me that machine, she said, change your needles regularly, use the right needles, and clean and oil your machine regularly. And that was it. So that's as far as my lessons have gone. So if I'm ever saying the wrong thing, feel free to correct me, because yeah, if I might have the terms wrong. I could well do. Debs, you're doing so good.
I was just thinking it could also be very different in different parts of the world, couldn't it?
There is that as well, because in America you call autumn fall, so and such is everything. So yeah, so there's a good chance that maybe we use a term over here that you guys don't use, or somewhere else in the world. Hand crank is correct. Oh, good. Yes, I got something right. Good. Yeah. I hand crank a lot when I'm making bags. I don't know about you guys, whether you use the hand crank a lot. I just feel safer, especially when I'm around like the rectangle rings. Any hardware really, metal with my needle. I'd rather just hand crank it as I get close. Make sure I don't hit it. Woo! Look at that, Debs.
Cool. Get in there.
Okay, so we want that to go like that. Put that one through there. Yeah, you're nearly done, Debs. You're going to be able to go and collect the kids on time. Oh, hang on. There you go. Okay. Oh, it's looking really pretty. It's going to be a nice bag. Next week should be a lot easier in some ways, because this week's there's a lot of thickness and a lot of like using the hump jumper. Next week, all we're going to do is attach like the rest of the panels, and then attach the sides and do the binding. So there's a lot of curves, which is difficult, but there's not a lot of thickness really, apart from when we're top stitching the back seam. That's going to be it. So Hazel, you learned to sew using Debbie Shaw tutorials and books, then Jo. Ah, the CJ was your first breakaway bag from Debbie Shaw. Do you know, I don't think I've ever made a bag by Debbie Shaw's patterns. So I'm going to have to check her out, because I have heard of her a lot, but I've never made one of her patterns. Is there a pattern for that bag? Hint, hint. Yeah, no.
I don't do patterns, do I?
Adam doesn't do patterns,
I
no.
just draw on the back of the leather.
And because the leather, like you can leave raw edges everywhere, so this has got like loads of raw edges on it.
Well, they're burnished.
Yeah, you burnish them instead. Turning it into a fabric bag would be a whole different kettle of fish. Which was why I was so happy when I saw Ore Rosa's pattern. So I think it's called the Monica, and then she's got like a miniature version of it as well. It's like a crossbody, and they both have those sides that come out. So I bought the pattern. I'm very excited. I'm going to make it at some point, but first I have to finish my Luz Marina and a Minter wallet, which is a Hansa Deli pattern, and also what else? Oh, the Zephyr wallet by Lavender and Twine I'm going to make, and then I'll get on to the Monica. So I've got a lot of other people's patterns that I really, really want to make that I've got lined up. Ta-da! Okay, so that's looking pretty amazing. And the stripes lined up pretty well on the back.
Oh, they did.
So yeah, there you go. Okay, so that's us done for this week. Next Sunday, 5 PM again UK time, we're going to finish the bag. So that should be about an hour and a half session next Sunday. If you missed the discount codes for today's session, make sure you check out the comments. Adam's put them in the comments. We'll put them in the video description as well, because they're only valid for a couple of days. And if you've got any questions, if you're watching afterwards, just let me know in the comments. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And we will see you next Sunday at the same time at 5 o'clock.
Hopefully less broken needles.
Yeah, no breaking needles next week. That's what we're going for. All right, see you all then. Bye.